Welcome to the Real Human Health Lab, where we break down real nutrition, movement and exercise, recovery, and how to improve your day to day well being. I'm Ollie, and every week we dive into one key topic to help you advance your knowledge and health with science backed studies and experiences. Let's get straight into it. Okay, the topic I will be discussing today is hot and cold therapy, more specifically saunas and ice baths. I believe these are very powerful and transformative for humans. And if you've been on the internet over the past 5 years, you will have seen videos about saunas and ice baths because if anyone does an ice bath, they love to post about it, and that is me included. But what actually gets overlooked and not made clear to people watching is how beneficial these things are for your hormones, recovery, metabolism, and even your gains in strength and muscle growth. So, in this episode, I will be getting into the science behind heat and cold, their impact on hormones like testosterone, growth hormone, and cortisol, the specific protocols for men, women, and athletes, and how to actually time them for the maximum strength, fat loss, and focus gains. I also know that often people overlook heat and cold therapy due to it being inaccessible or not having the time to do this, as well as feeling that it is more of a mindset thing and just a way to feel tough. But actually, it can be way more accessible and way more easy to do, and there's lots more benefits that can change your life that we will get into later on in the episode. Now, although initially this may not be a topic you think is very important to you for whatever reason, it may be it being inaccessible or not having the time to do these things or just not wanting to do these things, that's okay. But what I will say is you do learn a lot about the body and how it reacts to these different environments. Now, it is a very science based episode. I do add my opinion here and there of my own personal experience, but I definitely recommend listening to this whole episode because you learn amazing things about the benefits of hot and cold therapy when you probably didn't even expect it to have an effect like that. As well as this, I also give you ways you can do this without actually having access to a sauna and an ice bath. So I'd massively recommend listening to this whole episode. It's a great one. Let's get straight into it. Let's go. But what we'll start off with before we get into that is what is actually happening inside your body. So the science of heat and cold therapy. Now, when you first get in a sauna, your core body temperature starts to rise. This triggers heat shock proteins, which is amazing for repairing cells, reducing inflammation, and muscle protection. As well, when you sit in a sauna, your blood vessels dilate, which is amazing for increasing circulation around your body. And the third main thing that happens when you're sat in a sauna is your heart rate actually climbs, which it can get to a level where it actually matches what you'd see your heart rate doing during moderate exercise. So, a light jog on a treadmill, your heart rate may be the same level as sitting in a sauna for 20 minutes. So, I'll just get into the benefits of the sauna. So, the main benefits you will get from spending time in a sauna. The first one is cognitive health. So, there's multiple Finnish studies, Finnish as in Finland, that show people who use the sauna 4 to 7 times a week have up to a 65% reduced risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's great for your cognitive health. As well as this, the cardiovascular support you get from using the sauna is amazing. So it mimics light cardio, which improves blood flow, lowers blood pressure, and actually supports heart health massively. The other thing it benefits is your mood. So it actually boosts your mood and increases endorphins and serotonin. So it can be great for stress relief. Sitting in the sauna can really mellow you out and relieve that stress you're feeling. As well as massively benefiting the cardiovascular system, it also benefits muscle recovery. when you get in a sauna, heat exposure actually promotes mitochondrial health. This leads to a speed up of muscle repair as well, sitting in a sauna. So it's amazing for making sure your muscles recover correctly, get that recovery they need. Also linking to this, the hormonal boosts are amazing. So a lot of people do not know this and it does get overlooked, but growth hormone, so the thing a lot of athletes and gym goers these days are obsessed with trying to get naturally rather than going on PEDs or sort of therapies. They try and look to get this naturally. Sitting in a sauna can actually spike your growth hormone 2 to 5 times the amount after just one 30-minute session. So if you think multiple sessions, you're correct, even higher. Which is absolutely amazing for people that are naturally trying to improve their physique and increase their strength. Now, there is also some evidence that suggests mild increases of testosterone when sauna is used after post-exercise. So, as we know that testosterone and growth hormone go hand in hand. Now, as we know, the cortisol hormone, which is the stress hormone, actually does take a toll on your testosterone and growth hormone as well. So this actually links to both of them because regular sauna use helps regulate and reduce cortisol levels. So it helps to balance stress without any sort of sedation. So that then also leads to assistance in balanced testosterone and growth hormone. Estrogen support in women is also a massive thing. So the sauna is shown to help with PMS. It's also helped with relieving cramps and even skin health when going through sort of higher or lower levels of estrogen. That is some of the amazing benefits of using a sauna on a regular basis. Now, what we'll get into is its best friend, cold therapy. Now, what cold does to the body drops your skin temperature massively and at a very quick pace. This leads to your body shifting into survival mode, which sounds a bit scary, sounds like it shouldn't be happening. But actually, it's beneficial because the vasoconstriction that happens causes blood to rush to your vital organs, giving them that oxygen and that blood that they need. As well as that, mentally, the brain releases norepinephrine and dopamine, which are key for alertness and motivation, which is why you see people tend to do cold therapy at the start of their day. And that's the simplified, basic explanation for what actually happens in your body when you do cold therapy. What we'll get into in more depth now is the benefits of doing that cold therapy. So the first one that is very great for your body is recovery and inflammation. Ice baths actually reduce post-workout soreness and inflammation massively by limiting the muscle damage and kickstarting that healing process. What I will just touch on that subject is that when you're doing hypertrophy training, you should leave the ice bath for at least 4 hours after training before you do it, just because it can hinder that muscle gain. Now, the second key benefit would be the mental effects, so the mood, mental clarity, and focus benefits. So firstly, it increases dopamine by up to 250%. Now that's amazing. These effects from that can actually last for hours. So your dopamine can be 250% higher for the whole morning or even the whole day while you're at work, while you're doing activities. As well as this, the focus you get from it is amazing. So the norepinephrine in your brain actually surges 2 to 3 times the amount just by doing cold therapy. This is massive for improving alertness, attention, and even pain tolerance it can have an effect on. So if you want to have a very focused morning, then jumping in an ice bath can massively help that. Now, in regards to fat loss and metabolism, the cold therapy actually activates the brown fat around your body, which burns calories to generate heat. So that brown fat generates heat, leading to a burning of calories. that also leads to a better metabolic health. And lastly, the hormonal effects from an ice bath are also great in hand with a sauna as well. So, back to the growth hormone, cold exposure can also boost growth hormone in response to the physical stress. So, because of that physical stress your body goes into, growth hormone is seen to increase. Now, testosterone, as I said before, you should avoid cold therapy immediately post lifting because it can blunt testosterone and recovery signaling. So just be careful on that timing, which we will get into further on in the episode, on that timing when you do these cold and heat therapies. And lastly, your actual thyroid function gets great support from cold therapy. So doing cold therapy can support your thyroid activity, especially in women, but overuse can also be counterproductive if you're already hypothyroid. So just as I say, we'll get into that. Just be careful of how much you do it and when you do it. Now, we've discussed the general benefits from doing these heat and cold therapies, but what we'll get into now is what really matters to a lot of you people listening and a lot of you people interested in health, and that's muscle growth, strength, recovery, and performance. Now, how heat actually supports gains is quite interesting. So, getting in a hot bath or a sauna can increase blood flow to the muscle tissue massively. And with this increase in blood flow, it actually improves and increases the nutrient and oxygen delivery to your muscles, which obviously is very beneficial for them. Now, as well as this, the heat shock proteins that are triggered when in this heat prevent muscle breakdown and protect the cells under stress, which again is wonderful for your muscles, keeping them strong and protecting them. And as I discussed in the benefits, the boost of growth hormone from using the sauna is amazing post workout or in the evening because, as I said, a lot of people look at how they can increase their growth hormone naturally, and this is one of the best ways. If you're looking to build muscle, looking to build your strength, and also increase your performance and recovery, growth hormone is linked to all of them. So, what I will discuss now is how cold therapy can actually interfere or help your muscle growth, strength, and performance. Now, as I've said already, muscle growth can be hindered, and that is if you do cold therapy right after strength training. This is because it can reduce the muscle building signals like mTOR in your body, so that will then hinder the benefits you get from lifting. But when used away from workouts, so say for example 4 hours after your workout you jump in an ice bath, it actually shows that it enhances recovery and reduces muscle damage, so you'll be recovered quicker and ready to hit those muscles again sooner. It's amazing for reducing DOMS, which a lot of people get, which is delayed onset muscle soreness on rest days. So say you do a heavy leg day or a heavy training session at your sport, then you may get delayed muscle soreness in your legs, for example. Now, jumping in an ice bath can massively reduce that because it will reduce the muscle damage and the muscle soreness. If you're training for size and strength, what I will say is use the sauna post-training, so between 30 to 60 minutes after, to recover and then stimulate that growth hormone, stimulate the growth happening in your body. And then when you do your cold therapy, do it on non-lifting days or at least 4 to 6 hours after training. Avoid doing it immediately after. And that can be an ice bath or a long cold shower. Okay, if you are interested in hot and cold therapy in any sort of way you've ever researched it, you may have come across contrast therapy. Now, this is seen as the ultimate recovery trick. Everyone loves it, switching between hot and cold. But again, what gets overlooked and not fully explained to people is why it works and the best protocol to make it work. So the reason it does work is because When you're switching from hot and cold, it improves circulation massively. It also causes lymphatic drainage and inflammation control. So that's why you see a lot of benefits from doing these two things hand in hand. As well as that, it helps to regulate the autonomic nervous system. So it switches from stress to relaxation mode on and off. So it helps to regulate that system back and forth. Now, lastly, why it works, which I've noticed massively in myself, is it enhances hormonal resilience. So it gently trains your body to handle stress better. Now, from when I started doing cold and hot therapy around 2 years ago, I have noticed that my way of handling stress and dealing with high intensity moments has become a lot better. So I've noticed that when I do get in a period of high stress, I'm able to navigate way better. I'm able to relax myself way better. So I would definitely say, personally, contrast therapy, I am a massive advocate for. So what I'll run through now is protocols and timing tips to follow based on your goals or just simply based on whether you want to implement this in your life for the benefits. So, the very simple protocol to get started would be to do a 15-minute sauna, hot bath, or hot shower, immediately followed by a 3-minute cold ice bath or cold shower. And I would repeat this between 2 and 3 times. And if you can, end it on cold, and then that will boost recovery. But if you want to end it on hot because you're about to go to sleep, please do so because that will massively help relaxation and sleep. I find that doing these protocols in the morning is much more beneficial and does set me up for the day. But obviously, if it's not possible for you to do it at that time, it's completely fine. If you don't have time in the morning, it does not matter. Just get it in when you can and you will feel the benefits. But if you do it in the evening, from my own experience, I'd recommend ending hot because if you go to bed after doing the cold, you do feel much more sort of alert when you're trying to relax. Now, these are the 4 different sort of goals that most people are looking at and how to use the sauna and ice bath for those. So, for muscle growth and performance, I would do the sauna after your workout between 3 and 4 times a week. And I would do the cold ice bath or shower at least 4 hours after lifting, or just do it on recovery days. So, days you're not training, do your ice baths or cold showers then. So, if you're really looking to optimize your hormones, for men, it's recommended that you do sauna 3 to 5 times a week and maybe a cold shower in between each sauna session. And I would also, in my personal experience, stick to just doing cold showers in the morning as your cold therapy. For women, it's recommended to do 2 to 3 sauna sessions a week, as well as a light cold exposure from 1 to 3 minutes once a week. Now, if your goals are improving your fat loss and energy, then doing cold in the morning would definitely be the move because it's recommended due to the metabolism activation that you see from doing cold in the morning, which can assist with fat loss and energy levels throughout the day. As well as that, the sauna is best done post meal or in the evening, so it massively helps with sleep, which is great for your energy and recovery and fat loss, as well as helping with insulin sensitivity doing it post meal. Now, the last one would be mental clarity and mood. So if you're just looking for the mental and mood benefits of cold and heat therapy, it's definitely worth doing your cold in the morning for immediate dopamine and focus and that norepinephrine boost. The sauna is definitely recommended in the evening, and you do this as many days as you can a week. Even if it's 1 day a week, you will see these benefits. But if you can do this every day, then obviously that is the best option. The sauna will reset your nervous system and lead to deeper sleep. So you want to do that in the evening for that mental clarity and mood. Let's wrap up this episode. So I know this has been a much more in-depth and heavy science episode compared to the first one, but I have tried to include my own personal experience here and there throughout the episode just to explain what I've experienced from doing the contrast therapy or even just the sauna and just the ice bath. Now, just to wrap it up and give you the key takeaways I would provide to anyone talking about this topic. Sauna helps your heart, hormones, recovery, and sleep. There's no doubt about it. There's so many studies that prove this. It's amazing. Cold plunges give you clarity, stress resilience, and inflammation control. Again, no doubt about it. Together, they're a potent combo. But when you're doing this, the timing is massive. So obviously, it can be a bit annoying if you're very sort of struck on time. You don't have a lot of time. You only have specific available times that don't match when you want to do this. I know it can get annoying and it can get frustrating, but just try and do it whenever you get the chance. There's no pressure. Doing it once a week and at a low level is still going to be amazing and beneficial for you. Want to grow? Use the sauna after lifting. Want to focus? Hit the cold in the morning. Want full body recovery? Try and do contrast therapy as much as possible. And just, even if it's just on your day off, just do it because you will feel amazing benefits. Now, what I'll do is I will leave a sort of simplified cheat sheet like I do under most of my episodes. I will leave that in the description. If you have any questions, please comment them below. If you have any recommendations on how you listen to the podcast, so how you want stuff explained, please let me know. And if you want anything explained in further depth or my personal experience with certain things, also please ask that question. Thank you so much for listening. On to the next episode. Stay hot, stay cold, stay strong.